Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is Dr. Victoria Nalule and I hope you're all fine and enjoying your weekend. So today I want to talk about the backward energy transition. I've been writing lots of posts and also a few papers about the backward energy transition, but I hadn't really gotten a chance to explain what I mean by the concept of a backward energy transition. So first and foremost, to understand that concept, you need to understand what energy really means. What are the different types of energy that we have? So we have various types. Some people can categorize them as fossil fuels, that is oil, gas, and coal, and also renewables, including solar, wind, hydropower. But we also have, when we're talking about the energy transition, that description is good to distinguish energy between fossil fuels and renewables. And the energy transition, when you are to understand it, basically it's a shift from fossil fuels to renewables. But however, what most people often forget is we also have modern energy and traditional energy. So modern energy is basically what we're using, the electricity we use, the gas we use for cooking, that is, and also LNG. Those are the different types of modern energy. And then traditional energy, it's like firewood for cooking, candles for lighting. So that type of energy is mostly evident in rural areas, especially for developing countries like African countries, some Asian countries. Most of the rural areas use or rely on traditional energy, that is firewood for cooking. You'll see lots of biomass, or some people can call it biofuels, and then candles for lighting. So, and then in the urban areas for most developing countries, it will be a mixture of both modern energy and also traditional energy, because you'll find like some households, they do have electricity, but they also have, like, they can have access to gas for cooking, but they'll also use like charcoal, or they can also use some firewood. So it's a bit of a mixture. It's common in both like African countries and also Asian countries. Now, with the energy transition, most people would focus on shifting from fossil fuels to renewables. But the question is, are you also taking into consideration that you have to shift from traditional energy to modern energy? Because remember, electricity, it can be generated using fossil fuels or even renewables. And for some countries, for some developing countries, which are the countries that are really struggling to ensure 100% electrification, the issue would not really be on what type of fuel you're using to get the electricity, but to ensure that that people have access to 100% modern energy. So for the developed world, it's totally different thing, because most countries, it's like in Europe, they have already achieved 100% electrification. So the issue really is not about modern energy or traditional energy. They have already achieved like access to modern energy, and their focus of late has always been to ensure that the modern energy they're using or they're utilizing is got or is generated from renewables and not fossil fuels. So now there is that mixture of understanding the energy transition. And first, you have to understand that it's a shift from fossil fuels to renewables, but then there is this element of shifting from traditional energy to modern energy. So that would be the complete energy transition if we're talking about what energy transition means, because obviously there is no definition, there is no average definition. Different people have different definitions, and different organizations have different definitions. Now, that's the background about the energy sector and how you can categorize the energy sector in order for you to understand energy transitions, energy progression, or even the backward energy transition that I'm talking about. Now, on the issue of the backward energy transition, what does it mean? Because remember, we have already emphasized that for the energy transition to really be effective, countries should be able to shift from traditional energy to modern energy, and also ensure that modern energy is fueled by renewable energy and not fossil fuels. But in the 21st century, especially in 2022, with the global energy crisis we have been experiencing, we have seen or we have witnessed many developed countries experiencing a backward energy transition. Initially, they had made progress to shift from fossil fuels to renewables. It wasn't 100%, but there was that progress towards the energy transition. And there was 100, like let's say 98% progress to shift from traditional energy to modern energy. Now the backward energy transition is like the opposite. They're going backwards. First, we're seeing many developed countries like the UK, German, going back to coal, which is not really, it shouldn't be the case in the 21st century, and considering their policies on climate change and the net zero targets. So they're going back to coal. That means they're going back to fossil fuels. We're seeing more investments in gas, which shouldn't really be the case if you're really shifting to renewables 100%. So in 2022, we're seeing European countries going back to coal, investing more in oil, investing more in gas. So there is that backwardness when it comes to energy transition. And now, to make matters worse, we're also seeing a shift from modern energy to traditional energy. Right now in the UK, most families are considering to use firewood, especially during this winter. That shouldn't be the case because firewood is a 19th century energy resource, especially for the developed world. I'm not talking about the developing world because we're still using biofuels or biomass. So we are seeing they're jumping from gas because now gas is really very expensive, and now they're going back to firewood, to the traditional energy. So that is the concept of the backward energy transition. And one of the reasons as to why countries are experiencing this backward energy transition is because of the ineffective energy policies. So in the next video, I'll be talking about the ineffective energy policies. But for now, I hope you have understood the concept of the backward energy transition, what it means, and also in the coming videos or the next videos, I'll explain the issue of the energy policies. How can you know if an energy policy is effective or ineffective? And also what we can do to tackle the energy crisis, but also to ensure that we have effective energy policies. So that's it for now. I hope you have enjoyed. Do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dr. Victoria Nalule, and involve us in consultancies, tailored research, and executive trainings at our consulting firm called Nalule Energy and Minerals Consultancy, that is NAME Energy. Bye-bye.